Okay, so who is everyone here today? I would assume that some people are digital marketing professionals. Who would say they're digital marketing professionals? Or two?
Yes.
And a half. Okay, not many. Newbies, so people who really don't know much about online marketing, digital marketing, SEO at all. A few more of them. And a few somewhere in between? Know a little bit, yes? Okay, so how would I describe myself? Well, thankfully I would describe myself as a digital marketing professional. But however, nobody knows absolutely everything about digital marketing. It's such a changing field. You can think you know absolutely everything and then have a conversation with someone and know someone knows a lot about a particular topic. So what are my main areas of expertise? Well, SEO. I started off really getting involved with SEO and being able to rank websites fairly high in Google quite quickly. Content marketing, that is actually the writing, audio, video, getting content out there and getting people to visit your site because of the content that you've distributed elsewhere. And also digital strategy as well. I really like understanding different types of digital media and how they fit together and what's best done first. So a little bit about my background first of all. So I've been involved with digital marketing for quite a while. Started off in the year 2000 actually. That's me in the year 2000. I launched an online restaurant guide. And that's where people could book online. And it really went well for a while, but after a while the business strategy wasn't quite the right time. So long story short, the business didn't quite work out, but that's where I got my grounding in digital marketing. I really got interested, and fast forward a couple of years later, 2004. By 2004, I was making a decent amount of money online myself. A couple of years, within that couple of years, I was figuring out how to design my own sites, how does everything fit together, how do you actually make money out of websites in terms of advertising, and how do you drive traffic at websites. So by 2004 I was making about £500 plus a week, $1,000 it was, because obviously you tend to get paid in US dollars online. And that was doing fairly well for me there by about 2004. So by 2005, 2006, I attended a few different networking events, and people started saying to me, well, how are you making your money, and how are you managing to do that? How are you managing to get these sites ranked to the top of Google for very competitive keyword phrases? So by 2005, 2006, I ended up providing quite a few SEO services for different people. A couple of companies coming to me and saying, will you do what you've done for yourself for me? But by 2007, I was getting quite frustrated. I didn't enjoy the fact that there were so many sharks in the SEO world. There were so many people that said, pay us $99 and we'll build 100,000 links to your website and we'll get you ranked overnight. Because they were preying on website owners or people who wanted to make their website successful online. And it just didn't work, or certainly didn't work long term. So I thought it was very, very important for people within businesses to get comfortable with digital marketing. Not to do everything themselves, but at least if they didn't want to do everything themselves, where they could actually manage an agency with a bit of knowledge behind them. So by 2007, I started doing different seminars. And I was doing quite a few seminars across the UK. 2008, what I did was I launched one of those seminars as a DVD, CD, and workbook home study course. I got lots of great reviews. I sent this product off to a few top bloggers at the time. Chris Garrett, if you're starting out in internet marketing and do not know which way to turn, the system will give you a comprehensive step-by-step overview. So that's great feedback to have. Yaro Starik, Entrepreneur's Journey, is a really famous blogger. Fantastic down-to-earth internet marketing home study course. So that really set me on course as a digital marketing trainer. 2010, 2011, what I wanted to do was relaunch everything because everything changes very quickly. And if you have just a home study course, then you can't really update things. So I turned the course into an online training platform. And these CDs were in effect videos that were online. Everything you could do online, a blueprint, a step-to-step action plan. And I sent for reviews again. Again, so I've got some great reviews there as well. Comprehensive training course. Should be added to the armory of any company that's serious about building their internet presence. So really, really happy about the kind of reviews that I had there. But what am I doing now? What kind of current projects am I up to? Well, Digital Marketing Monthly magazine is something I launched a few months ago. And Digital Marketing Monthly is an iPad-only magazine, and I've already got well over 1,000 readers of that as well. So that's a really great way of distributing your content on the iPad now. I'm also distributing books on the Kindle as well. That's the new 26-week digital marketing plan, week 1 competitor analysis. So I'm delivering each week in a manner that people want to actually read content in, because people don't necessarily just want to log onto a website and see all the content on that particular website. If they're on the tube, if they're traveling somewhere, then they can get it the way that they want to see content. I'm also in the process of completely relaunching the 26-week digital marketing plan yet again, and you might have noticed the name change from Internet Marketing Plan to Digital Marketing Plan. A couple of reasons for that. One is I think internet marketing is very associated with make money online kind of type products. And I don't want to be associated with that, because this is a step-by-step system that you can apply to any business, any conventional business. Sure, you can actually build a website and just make money online if you want to. But if you own a shop somewhere or have another type of service business, then this is a system that can apply to that. So that's one reason. And the second reason is digital marketing is much more than online marketing now. Digital marketing is through your Kindle, through your iPad, and that can be read and accessed offline. When you're traveling, when you don't have internet access at all. So I think digital is a much more appropriate name now. But I'd like to talk today about the 4 phases of digital marketing. Now, the 4 phases are basically what I call the framework behind the 26-week digital marketing plan. And that starts off with phase number 1, software and structure. Phase number 2, get social and turn on the tap. Number 3, broaden your base. And number 4, broaden your horizon. So let's crack on with phase number 1, software and structure. Now, the first thing that you need to do is select your host and CMS. It's important to start off at the very, very beginning. Get your hosting right, get your content management system right, how you're actually going to access your website and manage your content as well. But your hosting needs to be absolutely spot on. There's so many case studies that I've done recently for the new 26-week digital marketing plan training material. I've had about 10 people that have said to me, you can use my website as a case study, and I've put their website through different tests, and it's taken 10 or 20 seconds to actually load the first page, and that's absolutely terrible. You need to be better than 5 seconds load time. So selecting your host, getting your content management system right to begin with is absolutely imperative. Getting the design right, so what kind of themes or styles you're going to actually have on your website. Optimizing it for SEO, and tracking and measuring and testing. Knowing what your goals and objectives are when you actually come up, when you set up your website to begin with. So starting off with which host. Well, there are a few different options. There's a shared server, your own server, or a VPS. So a shared server is probably the most common one. Your own server is the most common one for really big companies. And VPS, virtual private server, that's kind of a middle ground. So having a look at shared server to begin with, probably one of the most common ones is HostGator. HostGator start off at $3.96 a month, so it doesn't seem much at all. VidaHost, it's a UK-based one, £2.99 a month. I've used both of them, and I kind of thoroughly recommend both of them for actually starting off. VidaHost is great for a UK-based business, because one of the things you want to do is actually have your server ideally based in the same country where the majority of your target audience is. Because that's a little signal to Google that if the server's there, then your website is more likely to be targeting that particular country. So that's VidaHost, just $2.99 a month. So if you're just starting out and you don't have many visitors, then that's probably a good option for you there as well. On the other end of the scale, you get your dedicated servers. You're probably starting off about £600 a month. There are options less than that, but if you're talking about a big business, then that's the kind of figures that you will be talking about. In between, you've got Gandhi.net, which is a VPS. A virtual private server, and that starts off about £9.50 a month. Now, there are lots of VPSs. Gandhi is just an example, but I'm using Gandhi as an example because that's the service that I use to actually host 26weekplan.com. Starts off at £9.50 a month, and what you can do is you can select different nodes, different levels of VPS. So how much RAM, how much storage space, how much processor power you actually get. So it's a virtual segment of a server that you get. And that really, really is excellent, because what it means is you get all the power of having your own server, and you can choose how much of that server you have. I really like this website called Web Page Test, which I use to actually see how quickly web pages load. And you can see here 3.442 seconds, so 3.4 seconds for the home page of 26weekplan.com. But look at this repeat view, 0.4 seconds. So whenever someone refreshes the page or goes back to the page, because the page has been cached and stored in their computer, then it only takes 0.4 seconds to load. So that's just a breakdown of all the different files that are loading there and the repeat view there. So that's the kind of performance level you should be looking for. Less than 5 seconds for your first load time, less than a second for your second load time. If you start getting above 10 seconds initially and your repeat view isn't better than 5 seconds or so, you're probably putting people off visiting your website. They'll click on your site, see a little, round thing that goes round and can't be bothered, go back. So they'll go and visit a competitor instead possibly. So use that to test your website. So selecting your host, obviously you've got budget to consider, server location, server speed and reliability, and software. What kind of software you actually want to run on the host to begin with. So those are the things to consider initially. Moving on to CMS, this content management system. How do you actually want to use the server? I use and thoroughly recommend WordPress, which is appropriate for probably 90+% of businesses out there. It's easy to personalize, easy to use, easy to upgrade, and completely free of charge. I'm talking about WordPress.org. WordPress.org is where you get the software from, and you can actually easily upload that to your server. Quite a few hosts have WordPress automatically installed, so you actually have to just click one button. So that's an advantage with using HostGator or VidaHost. Once you sign up with them, you just have to click one button and your WordPress is installed, and that's your content management system. How many people here have actually heard of WordPress? Okay, that's good, the majority of people. So get the design right after that. The design, I'm talking about themes in WordPress. And what a theme is in a sense a design structure. And it's a few pieces of code that you can add to WordPress to completely change the look and feel. And what that does is it gives you an opportunity to personalize your WordPress. And there are many places that you can actually get themes for low cost There are many places you can get themes for no cost. I would suggest going for low cost, because then you've got a coder that's probably spent a bit of time in it, and it's more likely to be a little bit more efficient in terms of loading up and better for your users. There are a few decent themes that you can get from ThemeForest for less than $50. WooThemes is another great place where you can get themes from. And I use the Thesis theme on 26weekplan.com. Now, the Thesis theme is essentially a different framework for WordPress. So it changes a few of the features within WordPress, but it makes it very easy to actually customize things. And with Thesis, they also have their own skins. So the skins are the designs that fit on top of Thesis. But if you're serious about WordPress, I would suggest looking into Thesis and perhaps using that and having a skin on top of that. And that's certainly what I use. And of course, you don't have to do everything yourself. Especially if you're not a coder. If you're in business, you want to concentrate on the strategy, on the marketing, on the kind of things that are important for you in business. So if that's the case, use a service like Odesk. I've got 4 or 5 people working for me all the time on Odesk, and they're all around the world in lots of different countries. It's a really great service, so I thoroughly recommend that for getting someone to actually install your theme, make your theme a little bit more bespoke, whatever you want them to do. Okay, so your next stage is optimizing your site for SEO. Have pretty canonicalized URLs. So big word there, canonicalization. And what that essentially is talking about is ensuring that there's just one version of a URL that the search engines can see for each page. Because a lot of content management systems and the themes and default ways of doing things can sometimes throw up different URLs depending on how someone has reached that page. Perhaps there'll be a slightly different way of writing that URL if someone's accessed that page via a link from a category or a link to your home page or perhaps a link from another site. There could be lots of different reasons for that, and there's no reason to go into that just now in great detail, but the important thing is just ensure that you've just got one version of a URL per page, and search engines know what that one version should be. The next is relevant internal linking. And what that means, of course, is if you've got content already up there on your site, which is relevant and related to the content that you're writing and publishing at the moment, what you want to be doing is linking to the existing content that you've got on your site. And what that does is it tells search engines what relates to each other. So you've got a piece of content that's particularly pertinent. Make sure you link to it using a relevant keyword phrase, and then you're signaling to users and search engines that those contents are definitely related, and giving yourself long-term a better opportunity for getting those pieces of content ranked. Use appropriate tags for search engines. Now, I could go on talking about SEO for hours. This isn't just about SEO. This is about the whole 4 phases of digital marketing. But in terms of the use of appropriate tags, I'm talking about things like title tags, heading tags, and what they're controlled by within WordPress is a few different menus. So you can actually select permalinks in WordPress. Now, if you select a good permalink structure, that's a permanent URL structure. Then what that will do is it will give a better signal to search engines what your page is, and it'll make them feel that your page isn't going to change at all in the future. Always select permalinks within your WordPress settings, custom structure, and I like this structure here, which is just post name. I like to add .html onto the end of it. That's not essential at all, but what that would throw up is a URL something like this. So if I had a post titled what is a permalink and why does it matter, I would want the URL to be something like 26weekplan.com/permalink-matter.html. It's short, it's unique, but also looks like a permanent page as well, so it's more likely to be ranked for the long term. And how do I actually ensure that the permalink's quite short? Because by default, WordPress will include the whole post title. So I don't want my whole link to be what hyphen is hyphen a permalink. So I use this plugin called SEO Slugs. And what SEO Slugs will do is not bear in mind all these common words like what is a and why does it. So it'll only use words that are fairly unique and different there. So I think that's the best way of forming URLs. The next thing is relevant internal linking. I use this plugin called YARP, yet another related posts plugin. And what that does is at the end of each post that you publish, it automatically determines which other posts that you've published in the past are relevant to what you're publishing just now and will link to the posts in the past. Now, it's a good idea to manually link as well within your articles, but this will automatically, at the bottom of your articles, go related posts. It's a lovely way of actually getting search engines and users to crawl through the rest of your content that you've already published. And in terms of tagging, I mentioned titles and headings. There are lots of different SEO tags. You shouldn't worry too much about. But there's a nice plugin, WordPress SEO, which will automatically optimize your different posts to ensure that you do use all these tags that are important to search engines. I mean, just as a brief overview, the title